Evolution is the process by which living organisms have changed over time as a result of natural selection, genetic drift, and other processes. It is a fundamental concept in biology that helps to explain the diversity of life on Earth and the relationships between different species. The theory of evolution by natural selection was first proposed by Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace in the mid-19th century. They argued that species evolve over time through a process of natural selection, in which individuals with traits that are advantageous for survival and reproduction are more likely to pass on their genes to the next generation. Over time, these beneficial traits become more common in the population, while detrimental traits become less common. There is overwhelming scientific evidence for the theory of evolution. Fossil records show that the Earth has been home to a staggering variety of species, many of which are now extinct. The fossil record also reveals that the forms of life on Earth have changed over time, with some species splitting into new species and others disappearing entirely. Genetic evidence also supports the theory of evolution. All living organisms share a common ancestor, and this is reflected in the similarities in their DNA. For example, humans and chimpanzees share about 98% of their DNA, indicating a close evolutionary relationship. Similarly, the DNA of all living organisms contains sequences of nucleotides that have been conserved over evolutionary time, indicating that they serve important functions and have been passed down through the generations. In addition to natural selection and genetic drift, other processes contribute to evolution. Gene flow, which is the movement of genes from one population to another, can also drive evolutionary change. For example, if a group of organisms with a beneficial trait migrates to a new area and interbreeds with the local population, that trait can become more common in the gene pool of the new population. Evolution also occurs at different scales. In addition to the evolution of individual species, there is also the evolution of communities, ecosystems, and even the biosphere as a whole. For example, the evolution of photosynthesis in early algae led to a proliferation of oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere, which in turn led to the evolution of new types of organisms that could use oxygen to fuel their metabolism. There are many examples of how evolution has shaped the world we see today. The wings of birds, the venom of snakes, and the camouflage of many animals are all adaptations that have evolved over time in response to the demands of their environments. Similarly, the human immune system has evolved to protect us from infectious diseases, and the human brain has evolved to allow us to think, communicate, and learn. Despite the overwhelming evidence for evolution, the theory is still not accepted by everyone. Some people, particularly those with religious beliefs that conflict with the theory, reject the idea that species can change over time. However, the scientific evidence for evolution is strong, and it is widely accepted as the most likely explanation for the diversity and complexity of life on Earth. Overall, evolution is a fundamental concept in biology that helps us to understand the world around us and our place in it. It is a constantly ongoing process that has shaped the diversity of life on Earth and will continue to do so in the future.